Shalom. All praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone that rule well and labor in this word and doctrine. And shalom to the elect. I just wanted to do a quick hit on some sort of light history and obviously some milk as well. And this is the memoirs of the secret services of John Mackey, who, and then it expounds upon the elongated title. But he was a Scottish spy who sought to basically inform of James II's invasion of England. James II being the last Catholic, Catholic meaning universal, a branch of Christianity so-called, which would actually Roman Catholic Church would correlate with the false prophet of Revelation. But he was the last Catholic monarch of Britain, I guess. And then there's just certain descriptions that Mr. or Sir, I think his title would be Sir John Mackey, who is done, he's chronicling certain peoples of this era. So he was a spy, and he sent letters, and this is a compilation, a document, a compilation of all his findings. So I was reading through this. I picked this up for about $35. That's postage and packing included. That's US dollars, that would be. Obviously I'm in England, but that's the conversion. But anyway, I'll stop the waffling, let's just get straight into it. So this is concerning Daniel, the Earl of Nottingham. I think he was the second Earl of Nottingham. Daniel, the Earl of Nottingham's Secretary of State. And Daniel Allah is the Paleo-Hebrew for the name Daniel. It would mean judge, he, power. So he is the judge of the power. He's the judge of the Most High. That being Yahawah, of course. Now, it says, I'll read the first paragraph, then we'll get to the meat of the argument, or the meat of the lesson. Daniel, Earl of Nottingham, Secretary of State, is eldest. Now, certain times in English you would have this, it kind of looks like an F, but really you see that it hasn't got a horizontal, what do you call that? A horizontal hyphen to make it, but that's just how they used to write that. So it's his eldest son to Mr. Finch, Lord Chancellor in the reign of King Charles II, that being the grandson, the paternal grandson of King James the 6th and 1st. That's where you get the King James translation. His name is attached, or that translation tends to be attributed to his reign. That's the 1611. That's what a lot of people have. That's what they had the Apocrypha in. And then it moved to the 1769, and that's when you have certain updates of the language. So you won't use instead of Jesus, it would read Jesus in the English. Of course, we know his name is Yahawashi. But anyway, this gentleman never made any considerable figure till the Revolution, when he zealously opposed King William's coming to the throne. He was made secretary of state by that prince to oblige the church, of which he sets up for a mighty champion. Now the next page is where we wanted to get the meat of the argument. I keep saying argument, I'm not arguing anything, just the meat of what we're going into. So here we are. He hath also the exterior air, so his sort of vibration, how he carried himself. He hath also the exterior air of, it says buff and F's, but really that would be business. They have, before they close out with a normal S on the end. So just like you have the modern Hebrew, sometimes the mem, or we'd call the ma, will have, when it's in the middle of the word, it looks different to ours at the end. That's sort of how they did it here. So the air of business and application enough to make him very capable. In his habit and manners very formal. A tall, thin, very black man. He was a very black man, like a Spaniard or Jew, about 50 years old. And I can't really read what that was. It says something about the Whigs. That would be a political party. You can read into that in another time. But a tall, thin, very black man, like a Spaniard or Jew, about 50 years old. So that shows he was a very black man. The Spaniards were very black men, and the Jews, or the house of Judah, were very black men. So that's not the only one, but that's the only one I want to touch on, because it brings up Jews, and then we can sort of link it into the scriptures and make a lesson out of it. So we'll go into the history on certain characters that were aforementioned, and then we'll just get into the scriptures. Shalom. This is the Wikipedia entry for John Mackey. It says John Mackey, it doesn't give a birth date. It just says died 1726, was a Scottish spy. He was the first person to inform the British authorities of James II's intended invasion of England in 1692 after the former king had fled from France to England. Now, they've not got any citations, but you can verify this information in various books if you do seek to find out anything more. It's got a bit of history on it. We won't dwell on it too much because this is not it's not what I want to dwell on. James II, who's made mention of there. James II and 7th. He's the last Catholic monarch of England, Scotland, and Ireland. Now, when it comes to Wales, I'm not sure. I can't help you with that. There you go. That's how they've portrayed him there. But when you check his parentage, it's Charles I, and when you check his father, it was, where are we? There, James VI and 1st. That's where you get the King James Bible. When you have the word King James, it's referring to this king. And all of these pictures, Lord willing, we're going to prove that they'll definitely be fallible. Alright, so I'm just going to hop back on the book here I've got in front of me. Just going to go back to page 26 so I can quote it exactly. So remember, that's page 26 in the Memoirs of the Secret Services of John Mackey. Alright, so here we have it. It says, Daniel Finch, 2nd Earl of Nottingham, 7th Earl of Winchelsea, I'm not sure what that is, was an English Tory statesman, which again would be correlating to a certain political party or a political group, who supported the Hanoverian succession in 1714. Now this is him. So we're gonna read the description again and see if this matches this brother right here. It says, he hath also the exterior air of business and application enough to make him very capable, in his habit and manners very formal, a tall, thin, very black man. Now, does this look like a very black man? I wouldn't say so myself. It says, like a Spaniard or Jew, about 50 years old. So maybe he looks around 50 years old, I'll give them that. But that doesn't to me look like a very black man. A very black man that's different to him just looking a bit, you could make that argument with tan, even though when you go to the word tan it means tawny, and that would actually mean a dark-skinned man, especially when we're talking sort of old Middle English, as when these sort of things were written. Well, this was written in the sort of end of the Renaissance as that was spreading, but we still see a remnant of those that were described as very black, like Spaniards, like Jews. Alright. Now his parents were Heenage Finch and Elizabeth Harvey. Now we would have to conclude that they would be so-called black as well. If he was very black, that's not a so-called mulatto or a so-called quadroon or a so-called octoroon or whatever, that's a very black man, as they've written here. Alright, so now we'll hit the scriptures. So we've got Job 30 and 30. It says, my skin is black upon me and my bones are boned. I'll try that again. My skin is black upon me and my bones are burned with heat. Now you can say, well, yeah, he was black because he was in a famine, or he was upset or something like that. Alright, but if you have a light-skinned person, if they go through affliction or famine, their skin doesn't turn literally black. It doesn't turn black. His skin was mourning, Ak. It's a symbolism. And that reminds me of the arguments against Jeremiah 14. So you get Jeremiah 14 and 2. It says, Judah mourneth. Of course, Judah would be who? Jews. And that's what they said. A very black man like a Spaniard or a Jew. Jeremiah 14 and 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Now I'm not even going to get into that because I just want to quick hit it. Now we obviously know that it's Hebrews 7 and 14, where our Lord sprang out of. This is it's talking about the Melchizedek priesthood, and how there's a priesthood that doesn't come from Lawyah, or doesn't come from Levi. Alright, so Hebrews 7 and 14, for it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribe Moses, or Masha, spake nothing concerning priesthood, and also it's spiritual, because the word Lawyah in the Paleo-Hebrew being Levi is the one that dealt with the law, and today in English you have the term what? Lawyer. Yeah, so it would be lawyer that dealt with the law, the tribe of Lawyah. So he was out of Judah, the Messiah Hamashiach, and then the Revelation 1 and 1 it says the revelation of Yahawashi Mashiach, which Yahawah gave unto him to shew unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, or Yachanan. So that's who it's talking about. Then we skip down Revelation 1 and 13. And we should all know this really. But Revelation 1 and 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. So you have scoffers and mockers saying, you look like Power Rangers. Why are you dressed like an Arab? Well, who had a garment down to the foot? Yahawashi, who was an Israelite. He was a Jew. So if we're the Israelites and we're the Jews wearing ancient garments, of course we're going to have a similitude there. Revelation 1 and 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, had woolly hair, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. And his feet like unto fine brass or fine bronze. When you go into the Old English for brass, Lord willing will pull that. They are synonymous. It says, as if they burned in a furnace, so they were very dark. He was a very black man, like unto a Spaniard or a Jew, because he was a Jew. It says, as if they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. So he wasn't effeminate, he didn't speak soft, but he spoke with that commanding authority. Alright, and now we'll hit etim online. Alright, it says brass, yellow malleable alloy metal, harder than copper, Old English, brass or bronze. Originally, any alloy of copper in England, usually with tin. This is now called bronze. Remember, this the 1611 or the King James Version was published in England. It was in Old English, if you like, or coming out of that, but it wasn't the modern English that we have. It says later in modern use, an alloy of roughly 2 parts copper to 1 part zinc. If you search the word copper as well, it says a mystery word with no known cognates beyond English, perhaps akin to French brasser, to brew. He was a Hebrew, but because it is an alloy, yeah, it doesn't literally mean Hebrew. Just to clarify that, it also has been compared to Old Swedish brassar, fire, but no sure connection can be made. Yet another theory connects it with Latin ferrum, iron, itself of obscure origin. Let's see, so the use of the English word in Bible translations, et likely means bronze. Let's see what we can get. We'll leave just for time purposes. So we had the word Spaniard, didn't we? It says Spaniard. It says C1400 from Old French. Is Spagnard. I don't know how to say that. From Spain, from Latin Hispania, from Greek Hispania, Spain, Hispanos, Spanish, a Spaniard, probably from Celt-Iberian, in which language HI represents a definite article. Klein, who compares Hellenistic Greek, Spania, of course Hellene, going into that word you have Hellene, Hellenistes, talking about Greeks, Timotheus' father, so on and so forth. The earlier English noun was Spainol, from Old French Espanol. Yeah, so yeah, that is where you get the word Hispanic, being of a Spaniard. So, you have the word Jew, late 12th century, Jew, ancient or modern. That's ancient or modern. One of the Jewish race or religion, proving that Jewish is a raza. Go to the word race. There we go. Second one. People descended from a common ancestor class of persons allied by common ancestry. Not skin color, but ancestry. But then they do have a certain appearance if they all descend from and breed within the same groups, of course. From French race, earlier raza, race, breed, lineage, family. And I'll leave that up. You can go that. Radix, root, like that's where you get the word radical, like radical ratazan. That's where you get the term, so root. But look, it also talks about rush. And we'll leave that there for time. Oh, hey, a Negro. That's racist. Anyway, Jew, from Greek, Iodus, Iode, I don't know how to say that. A Jew, name of Jacob's fourth son, and of the tribe descended from him. And it's evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah. And then in this extra biblical witness we have here, it said that this guy was a very black man. Did we go into that man Daniel? Daniel Allah was a very black man, like a Spaniard or a Jew. So that was just a quick hit. probably took longer than I should on that, but I pray it was edifying. Unto the next one, Lord willing, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi.